Saturday? It's Saturday, yes. All right, so I believe we started the countdown. The first introduction I want to do is my mom over here. She's going to be joining. Isn't she beautiful? She's so beautiful. So today we're celebrating mothers. I don't know if you saw this in any of the captions that I've been putting out, but we're celebrating mothers, which is why my mom is here. We're kind of getting ahead of Mother's Day. So you don't know this, but you're going to be sharing a lot of stories about you, about us, me, yeah? Yeah, just warning. Start thinking of all the flattering ones. None of the, did you know he used to do this? No. Yeah, don't tell them the truth. Gosh. But I see some familiar faces. Who has not been here for a live stream before? All right, welcome everybody. So you don't know this, but I like to give away stuff during the end of this. And I may ask you some questions when we're off air and say, what was that one story that my mom said? What was that thing that I did? And if you have the right answer, we're giving away not only prints, but also we have these shoes that I wear for these live shows. I have a bunch of them and I want to send you home with them, so we'll sign them. And then if you guys all look here, there's a microphone. So if you have a question, it would be the live audience online would love it if you just walked up here to the microphone to ask the question. Just talk right into that. Not only can we all hear you, but also online, our audience will be watching. So we are simulcasting to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter and Twitch. So those cameras are like this one over here. So everyone say hi to Jeremy. Give Jeremy some love. We got another one over there. We've got a camera. We've got like 3 over here, and I think another one pointing this way. And then we've got an audience mic right here. So when you're answering the question, you'll be on there. And then we've got TikTok right here. Unfortunately, TikTok only gets the phone because they won't let us send the camera feed. So they'll be on here. We've got like almost 2 million people on there, so they'll just be watching. But you'll be here participating. And if you don't want to ask questions, it's all good. Just hang out, enjoy the process. How are we on the countdown? 2 minutes. All right, we're gonna start in about 2 minutes. And you're good with Instagram? Oh, okay, he needs a code. Welcome to technology. There is no code, but what I'll do is I'll leave this with you. Just keep that until it comes. Hopefully. Let's see, all right. And then I'll make sure, and then so when you talk, you gotta talk. Can you do a little test?
Hello? 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 Hello?
Can you hear it? All right. Real quick, what did you have for breakfast today?
It's bran cereal.
All right, bran cereal. That's good. So just like project so they can hear and feel it. All right, we're gonna get. Oh God.
What?
She said, "How would you yell at me?"
How would I get?
I love how my mom is all of a sudden shy. Okay, like we'll address this on the live. Yeah. But get comfortable. By the way, in the event there's an emergency too, there's a door straight through that curtain. Big wide open door, and there's a door that way. And Reggie's here keeping us safe as well. So Reggie's and Shannon, wave your hand. And Mason, they're here to help as well. So, all right. We're gonna get started soon. 44 seconds. Are you good with that, the code? Okay. I'll take the phone when you're done. Just hand it to my mom. So I'm gonna read some comments on there. I'm excited for this. Thank you, sir. Everyone make some noise for Ray too, for making all this production happen. This would not be possible without him, so thank you, Ray. All right, we've got some people joining. I believe the countdown, we got like 15 seconds. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, leave a comment, get ready. We're gonna ask you where you're from, and you see this lovely woman here. This is my mom. We're celebrating moms today. All right. Okay, welcome to Paint Life Live number 87. Well, I have two guests I want to introduce you to. First is my mom, joining us today for Paint Life Live number 87. And also one of my favorite guests is our live audience. You can see half of them at least, part of them, on the screen right there. Just wave. I think Jeremy's got them right there. So welcome to them. And by the way, you guys can make noise. It's okay if you get like just, there we go. Just a little rowdy. Because here's the thing, there's not enough love that we can give our mothers. And so we're getting ahead of Mother's Day. I want to celebrate all mothers. The painting today will be, we'll be celebrating them. We're also doing something special with the painting, so stay tuned for that. But as our online audience is joining us, and let us know where you're watching this from. I see a country flag on there. I'm gonna shout that out in a little bit. But real quick, you should introduce yourself to everyone.
I'm typically, to everybody, I'm just Mama Margie. David still calls me Mommy. But I am
Thanks,
Margie.
Mom. Wow.
Yeah, it's Mom.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Mom. But I'm Margie, and I've been around for a long time.
30 years.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
15. No, I don't know. I'm like doing that.
We'll say 40.
Okay, 40. 40 years. Yes, that's it. Yeah. Go ahead. Take over the show.
Yeah. No, actually, I'm like super excited to be here today. I'm usually always commenting on his live streams. So I always challenge everybody, or he challenges them, to comment more than Mommy does. But anyway, I'm excited to be here and just to get to meet new people. And this is what I do. Just love everybody.
She will be live commenting on the show today. But no, she's without a doubt one of my biggest supporters. My parents are very supportive, but my mom always on these live streams. Like, you always see her commenting. So don't hold back now.
Yeah.
Like, she's always so forthcoming. Like, David, did you tell him about this? I'm like, maybe not, Mom.
Yeah.
Maybe not today.
Yeah.
But I do. I want to share some stories, you know, from growing up, and we'll talk about that during the painting. I believe we have about a little less than 3 minutes until we get into the one painting I'm doing today, inspired by mothers, their strength, their beauty, their patience with us, and many more attributes, which I'm sure you'll list off those things for me.
Yes.
I'm sure you will, yes. All right, so real quick shout out if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, wherever you are, even on our website, we send it out to our text list. Where are you watching this from? I see Brazil, and then Peppa, I'm sorry, I know you're watching this on YouTube. I don't know all my flags that well, so Peppa on YouTube, please let me know what country flag that is. Because there's also paint on my screen too. So I don't know if it's like a symbol or paint. I think it's Greece. I don't know. Peppa, please correct me. And then we've got our on Instagram joining us as well. Stacy Bettis said hi, Margie.
Hi.
Yes.
Hi, Stacy.
Hi, my mom said hello. Let me go to Instagram again. On Instagram, let me know where you're watching this from so I can give you a shout out. And then today we have our live audience, so they'll be asking some questions. If you have questions on your mind about the creative process, if you have questions about dry cleaning, because apparently I'm a dry cleaning expert now from getting paint all over them, of Finland, there we go. I knew I was wrong.
Yeah.
So shout out to Peppa watching from Finland right now. And also, this is the easiest way you can participate, is shout out your mom.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're here, you want to come to the mic, shout out your mom, don't be shy. It's okay to do that. I see some kids here too with their moms, so if you want to do that too. All right, so I see Gemini _2780 in Elk Grove, California. Welcome. Abajazteca in the US. Let me know your city, state, or country. And also Snowbeezy, Abe, commenting from the live audience. So welcome, Abe Snowbar. I love it. United States of America, yes. We've got Energy Work 1111 from Aarhus, Denmark. Welcome to you.
Wow.
We've got people from literally all over the globe. We got 10 seconds left. Let me get those shout outs in. And Lisa says, Dave, hi darling, met backstage. My hubby is rock photographer for Kiss in Glasgow, which he got some incredible shots when we were in Glasgow, Scotland. Incredible. Oh, now they're coming in. There we go. Mark Bartley in Barnes, Kansas. And let's see, Willie Buckshot said, "Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Also walked by your mural this morning in downtown and just purchased the Miles print." So I'm gonna tell a story about that. Before we get into this painting, has anyone seen the mural I did in downtown? But it's like an underwater scene. One person? All right. All right, I'm gonna tell the story. Do you know the story behind that? All right, I'm gonna tell a infamous story behind that mural. But right now, you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
All right, let's
go.
paint, let's go. Oh, we'll take that countdown off. All right, welcome everybody to Paint Live Live. You just select it and there we go. All right, welcome everybody to Paint Live Live number 87. We're celebrating our mothers today. So the image is, oh, hi. The image is full of beauty, grace, but also strength, which you'll see come to life. This particular image though is now, is it live? Is it live, Shannon? Okay, so we're doing something new today. Before the image is done, the pre-sale has started. So for the next 20 minutes, can I help you out? Is it okay? You got that?
I'm so sorry.
Everyone, Chadi, welcome. Guys, we're really professional around here, you know? We got it together. So for the first 20 minutes, this image, which is not done yet, will be 75% off. And then from 20 minutes to 40 minutes, it'll be 50% off. And then the last, from 40 minutes to completion, 25% off. You'll see it come to life. But if you want to roll the dice, I think it's going to be cool. But we're just trying something new. You tell me what the price is right now. So $21.25 for a 24 by 30 inch image. It's like this big. So it started right now? $21. $21 right now for the 24 inch by 30 inch version of what this will be. I don't know. All right, you guys want to just take over this? This is my life, guys. Welcome to my life. This is a live stream of my life. We'll take care of you. The live audience, we got you covered. Live audience, you know, you guys just get 75% off the whole time. So if you're here, all right. Let's actually paint this thing though. Yes. All right. Here we go. Let's paint. All right, and we're done. Hope you enjoyed that. It's for sale right now. All right, let's get back into this. So those of you watching right now, the title to this is Celebrating Our Mothers, and I could not do this without my mom, so I asked her nicely, can you cancel all your plans today to be here with me on the live stream? And of course, she's the best mom she did. So she's here. Let's cut to my mom real quick and say hello there on the live stream.
Hi, everybody.
So, Mom.
Hi.
So as you're here with us, can you share your name? Where did life start? And we're gonna hear her audio as we cut back and forth between the painting. But tell us like where you grew up, you know, where life began for you.
So I'm from Southern California. Grew up in Montebello. So you know, my friends watching me right now from there. Graduated and that was 1972. And we moved up here in 1986. I had 3 little kids, a cat that hated us, and my ex-husband, his dad, brought a city girl to the country. And
yeah, Sacramento was like, it was like country at the time.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot here.
There was cows across the street from our house, and I was mortified. But David was just 4 years old, so he grew up here, the kids grew up here. And I think 35 years later, Sacramento is home. and I thought I'd be back about 20 years ago, back to LA, but I'll never go back. One thing I do want to say, if somebody I want to introduce, she was my first friend, my first client. I'm a hairdresser. I've been a hairdresser for 50 years. And Francesca Lewis is in the audience today. And and she's here with her granddaughter, Kendall. So our children grew up together.
Here we go.
They grew up together. We spent holidays together. I can't even begin to say what a blessing this woman is to me. So
see, I told you the shyness would go away.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, just a little about my life.
Yeah.
I know, I love that. So you grew up in LA.
Yeah.
And you came here to Sacramento.
Yeah.
So you've always been a hairstylist.
Correct.
And I remember it was such a huge influence on me, clearly. But you also had some side hustles. So tell us about one of the side hustles that stood out to what I do now.
So basically, when I moved to Sacramento, I had been in my industry for 15 years already. So when I moved to Sacramento, I was unemployed. I had no clients. I basically had to start my life over. And so I started doing some people at home, but it just wasn't enough. I needed some creativity. I needed something to do, something to build, something to make. And does anybody remember the wearable art? The painted t-shirts and
it was big in like
jewelry,
the 80s,
all
early
of that.
90s.
We're talking like mid 80s, 86 to about 90. Well, I got into that, and again, my friend Francesca was one of my biggest supporters, always has been, and I think she probably bought 20, 30 of those sweatshirts and t-shirts. And it actually turned into a pretty booming business. What they look like, basically, not what David draws. They look like David's walls.
What I look like now.
Yeah, like they look like that.
Who am I wearing?
Like,
Margie Albany?
Like this. Yeah.
Oh man.
So I can't draw. I can't draw at all. Stick people. The kids kind of laugh when I draw things because it's.
I didn't laugh. My brother probably laughed.
Yeah, but
I'm just throwing him under the bus because he's not here. So.
So my line was called Do Rags, and actually Francesca had a friend that made the logos for me. So I even got my clothes into Nordstrom, and so I did okay for coming here and not knowing where I was going, where God was going to put me, what He was going to do, and but I knew He wasn't going to let my creativity die.
Real quick, by the way, those of you just joining us, this is being narrated by the voice of my mom, live right now. So painting something inspired by mothers, but just keep going, Mom. You're doing a great job. But just so you know, it's being narrated by the voice of my mom, live. They're like, what music is this on Spotify?
Who is that woman?
Life of David Garibaldi.
One of a cool thing that used to happen when I would paint is I would set up my banquet tables all in the garage, and I would paint like 20 t-shirts at one time. So the kids would be running amok out in the streets. And now, mind you, when my kids were babies, I had 3 in diapers. So they were all 14 months apart. I was a super mom. And anyway, so I would paint, set up everything in the garage. So everybody would be out in the street playing and running around, except for one little boy, David.
She's like our neighbor.
Yeah, our neighbor, yeah.
And then David came home.
So David would come into the garage, and he was always like kind of fascinated by the mess that I was making. But he would always ask me, he's like, Mom, so how do you know?
You don't have to do the voice.
No.
I think they get the picture that I'm small. I'm kidding. Do whatever you know what? This is all about you. You can do the voice.
Oh, I was going to.
She's been waiting like 2 years since we started live streams to do this, so go ahead.
So he'd come up and he's like, how do you know that paint goes right there? And I'm like, I don't know, David. I said, I just start painting and it just falls where it falls and it goes where it goes, and and it ends up looking like that. So he was just always fascinated by that. And, but I mean, I also believe whatever gifts you have, you're born with them, and it's up to us to find our gifts, see where they're going. And it was at an early age that I realized, probably about 10 years old, that David was gifted. And but anyway, I was just when we think back and we kind of laugh about when he started doing painting, and he asked me when he had his very first show, he's like, Mom, does this remind you of anything that like from the past? And I said, it does, David. It looks like my do-rags. And so it's just kind of cool. I love just seeing that this is where it's taken him, but that people truly enjoy seeing the mess that David makes.
So yeah. I would add to this story that not only watching what you were creating, but also you were very passionate about your creative projects, about styling hair, connecting with people, but also I got to see you put energy behind a hustle, and then use that to provide for your family and beyond. And that's probably what inspired me the most. Life has ups and downs, and through that all, the passion remains. And I think that was one of the most important things that I learned from you. So
yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Mom. All right, so thank you for the backstory and the voices of me as a child. Appreciate that. So what are some other, like, not crazy stories, but what are some stories from my childhood? We're gonna tell them that story about, so I had a drag racing era of my life.
Yeah.
Something you helped me out with?
Yeah.
You wanna tell them that story?
Yeah.
She's like,
So there's two of them. There's a brother. And they had these cool little, what were they, Ford Focuses.
Yeah, they were like the jankiest cars, but we put like mufflers on them.
Yeah.
They were lowered, they had spoilers, like it looked funny, but we just thought we were doing the coolest thing at the time.
Yeah. Well, I thought they were just driving around, like, going back and forth to work or school or whatever they were doing. I had no idea they were racing. No idea. And how I found out, David he put NOS in his car.
So those of you that don't know what NOS is, it's nitrous oxide. And when you mix it with gasoline, it makes the car go really fast at a push of a button. I thought it'd be a great idea to put that in my Ford Focus. And so one night I tried it, and the first phone call was to my brother, who came and rescued me because my engine blew up. So my brother comes and he's like, bro, you're on your own. And he left me. He came with his friends, like, goodbye. And then the second call was to my mom, and I was like, hey, I need a tow truck.
Yeah.
I also need to get this fixed. So she was upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you thinking at the time? You're like, what? Like, you were working so hard.
Yeah.
And then I call you in the middle of the night, I'm doing something dumb, which is most of the time.
So he could have died. And I really didn't understand what that was at the time, what NOS was. Of course, I found out. But about $1,000 later, he had his car back. And I was like, don't do that again, because then you're on your own. But anyway, so that was...
But there was another, so I enjoy getting into trouble when I was younger, believe it or not. I know, it's hard to believe. but I was also into graffiti as well. And did you want to ask a question?
That was a question I was going to ask.
Oh, go ahead and ask. Let's go ahead and get that. Yeah.
Dave's talked about his graffiti
There we go.
days.
Yeah.
Did he ever were you ever in the car and he's like, hey, I drew that. All right, that's my wall. Is there any special stories like that? Or is that, how did you discover he was doing graffiti on the side and things like that?
That's a great question, by the way.
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, this is, so I was that mom that I actually bought David's spray cans, knowing he was
She's like,
painting.
because she was like, we did that. Look.
Yeah, I
No,
was
I'm
like,
kidding.
we did that. No, so we'd go to Home Depot or wherever you had, because the cans were locked up. They still lock up spray cans. So we'd go to the store and I would buy them for him. I'm like, okay, just pick out the colors you want and I'll get them. Then of course, I would lecture him because, you shouldn't be doing this.
But the alternative, just so you know what was on the line, the alternative was I would have to steal them. Or I was stealing them because they wouldn't sell them to me.
Okay.
That was my reasoning in my head.
I just found that out last year on Mother's Day dinner. That he was stealing them.
I'm just double downing this Mother's Day now.
Yeah. So I would buy him and I would tell him. Of course, then I had to lecture him because that was the responsible thing to do. And I would tell him, don't tell them who bought these cans for you. And don't get caught.
She's like that gangster in a movie, like, you didn't get it from me, like, you're on your own, kid.
Yeah.
Only it's mom.
Yeah. I was the gang leader of the graffiti kid.
That's what we told the police.
Yeah. They're like, I don't know, go pick up my mom. But thankfully, he never got caught. And again, I never knew about the stories of him being chased until I would go to like a show, like one of his shows, and he's telling stories, and I'm in the audience like you, and I'm like, you like never told me that the cops chased you. And you never told me like that you had to jump fences to get away from them. So there was a lot of things. The dinner table, your kids are grown, right? Your kids are grown now, and you've got Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner. And the kids are at the other end of the table and they're like laughing about what they used to do. But you didn't know that they used to do it, those things? Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just over here like, oh my God. This is a dream I'm going to wake up from. No, we're live streaming to the world right now. So actually, let's move away from the TikTok phone real quick. Yeah, because I don't know if that started or not, Ray. But real quick, we're going to get back to these stories. The painting that I'm creating right now is celebrating our mothers. I think we're about maybe 20 minutes in. But right now, the pre-sale for this has started, and it's 75% off. We're going to change it in about 5 minutes. So in 5 minutes, 75% off right now, the pre-sale to 24 by 30 inch print that this will become. And then after 5 minutes, it'll go up to 50% off, which is $27. So yeah, if you visit GaribaldiArts.com on the homepage, if you go to GaribaldiArts.com/shop, all the info will be there. So, all right, back to these stories of my mom. So yeah, you were learning a lot about, what I was up to going to these live shows. Now, before we get to that though, so I come home one day where we talk at some point and I say, Mom, I'm painting live now and this is what I want to do. Like, what was going through your mind originally learning about what I wanted to do when I was no one? I had no following, no audience, barely knew how to paint live. What was going through your head at the time?
Well, I think I have to back up a little that part of the story to when Chase and David were at Sheldon High together. And I will say it's not because these boys aren't smart, because they're super smart, but in high school they just didn't apply themselves. They weren't going to graduate. That's just the bottom line. So sat them both down and I was like, okay, you're gonna be okay. That was David. I was like, you'll be fine. I'll deal with you later.
Chase, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She said it. Chase is my brother. Chase, she said it. I didn't say that. He's doing fine now.
Yeah, but I just like, okay, you'll be fine. I'll deal with you later. You, Chase, you're gonna get your diploma. So if I never had mother's intuition, what to do, you just don't know what you're doing, if you're doing it right or doing it wrong. But that was probably one of the best decisions as a parent that I did. So I got Chase graduated. Then David called me one day. I still remember that day. He called and he said, well, and this was actually after I paid to get his car repoed once already.
It was tough times back then. It was tough times.
And that was all during the era of the mural on the apartment building.
Which I'll tell that story after this.
Yeah, that was that mural. But anyway, he calls me and he said, I just want you to know that I'm going to be an artist. I want to be an artist, and this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I remembered I was at work. I had my salon in Vintage Park. I don't know if any of you know where Vintage Park is. There's a Circle K shopping center there. Elk Grove Flooring in Vintage Park. I had a hair salon there for 26 years. And I still remember I was in the back, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and he said, this is what I want to do. And I said, okay. I said, you know what, David, I think that's a great idea. I will support you however I can. It may not be monetarily, although it was for a bit. But I said, I will always support you. I will be there. I will back you because I know you are going to do well. And here we are.
Yeah, all right, so yeah, real quick, before I share this story about how about this mural in Midtown, the pre-sale of this image is now at 50% off. So if you go to garibaldiarts.com/shop for the next 20 minutes or less, I believe so, as it's coming to life, it'll be 50% off. And then for the last 40 minutes to completion, 25% off. So go take care of that. So early on in my career, I tell my mom I want to be a painter. It's like, it's not always the most confident conversation you're gonna have with a parent when you say I'm gonna live off of trying to paint. It's also hard to explain that to a landlord when you're like, no, I have these dreams. And he's like, dreams don't pay rent. So I had just started painting live. I couldn't pay rent at 26th and N in Midtown Sacramento. So Gary, who's probably watching this right now, he came to collect rent. And he actually didn't know I was really painting at the time, but he opens my door and he looks kind of past me, because he was looking at me wanting the rent, but he looked past me and he saw these paintings I had been working on. I had been going to local places like the Fox and Goose or other local bars and nightclubs to paint live. And he asked me, who did that? And I said, that's mine. I just started painting. He says, that's awesome because you owe me rent and I want a mural on the front of my building. I didn't know what he wanted. It didn't matter. I knew I needed a roof over my head. So we made a deal for about 2 or 3 months rent that I would do this 3-story tall mural on the front of his apartment complex. So he traded that for rent. Eventually he gets the scaffolding out there. He actually bought my paints because I couldn't even buy the paints to do that at the time. And I said, all right, so what do you want? You want one of my classic musician paintings? You want something figurative that I'm, best known for locally? It's like, no, I want turtles. And then fish, and then like coral reefs. I was just listening to him nodding my head. I said, no problem, Gary. I turn around, I look at this wall, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless. Like, he's gonna see this painting and he's like, this is a terrible idea. But I did it, and I used spray paint to create it. And honestly, during that week that I took to paint that, it was very transformational for me because I realized that I could trade the creativity for a form of value. And the value was living somewhere. And as you start painting, you have to find different ways to trade for value. For example, you may not get $1,000 for that first painting. You may not get 100, but what could you exchange value in return for that? And so there was a quote I read the other day, or actually listened to on a podcast, that value is the utility that a customer or a client gets. It's not the price. It's not, the actual good of it. It's the utility, which means whether it's the actual painting, whether it's the thing that you're creating, or the way it makes them feel. That could also be the utility. So start to find ways you can exchange value for your original paintings, for your original creations, and then over time, you can start attaching a price to that and include the value as well. So keep that in mind. But the hustle was real. It was very real. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I wasn't homeless. I was on the verge. All right. So, Mom, are there any other funny stories that you want to share about about childhood or anything else?
Well, this doesn't really have anything to do with painting, but so when they were probably, I say they, I'm talking about the boys, 18, 19 years old, my husband and I decided to go to Hawaii for 10 days and left.
By the way, I don't know where this story's going.
Yeah. No, it was just one of those things I just recently found out.
Oh.
And I just asked them, I don't know, we were at a dinner or something. I said, so was it irresponsible of us to leave an 18 and 19-year-old alone for 10 days at home in the house? And they were like,
absolutely.
Yes, it was.
Like, do you know what we did?
Yeah. Yeah. So
what we did was, I think we had a couple house parties, gatherings during that time. We had a great time, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dog was still alive, so it was okay.
Yeah.
But they were just, typical kids. And I kind of say, like, there's going to be controversy on this, but I was kind of a single mom. And although I did remarry, but I handled the boys. They were, and
that's not controversial. It's,
I know.
You had your hands full. Yeah, you had a lot going on. She was running a hair salon.
Yeah.
Dealing with other hairdressers at the salon.
Yeah.
And then she's
9
got
of them.
2 wild boys running wild around the neighborhood, spray painting things and crashing cars. Like, wow, I can't believe we made it.
Yeah.
That's why we celebrate Mother's Day. Like, we survived.
So during his graffiti days too, when I found out, I did find out back then that police were involved, although he never got arrested or caught. But he had a friend, and I kept telling him, David, you need to stop. There is a time when our intuition as parents kick in, and we know there's certain people that our kids should not be hanging around with. And I kept telling him, do not hang around with this certain person anymore, because you're going to get in trouble and it's going to cost me a lot of money. And I think back then was about $9,000 for retribution or whatever it is you have.
Then there's attorney's fees. And
it was,
restitution.
So, and he was like.
I love that Abe knows exactly it's actually restitution. That's how the fees break down.
Yeah. And so one of his friends did get caught, and about this time, our great Mr. Sullivan, the animation teacher at Sheldon High, had just got a hold of David and asked him, David, do you want to pay to do what you're doing, or do you want to get paid to do what you're doing? Fortunately, he said he wanted to get paid. And it was about that point, so he's a junior at this time. And so it was about that time, the friend that I kept telling him to stay away from got arrested one night. And I think that really set David on a better path. But every time I see Mr. Sullivan, and we see him all the time, he's at every event, I thank him. I thank him for what he did for David, what he's done for all the other students that, out of David's class alone, I think there was quite a few of them that have made incredible livings with their gift, with their talents, with their, and these kids, I used to take pizza to them at night when they were getting their animation stuff together.
I'll add to that, just to give them credit and also to give my high school art teacher credit. Deshaun Sullivan was an incredible educator, but also like a creative coach. And because of that, myself and other student friends of mine went off to go work for Disney and Pixar, and are still now, creating and directing some of the biggest animated films that we watch today on Disney Plus and Netflix and so on. And so, yeah, Sullivan, came at that right time of my life, and honestly, I would not be here today if it wasn't for him and the combination of him, the encouragement from my mom, and also just running away from the police fast enough. But just the combination of those things, they add up. But there's definitely I didn't know that there was a successful positive path in the creative world, specifically arts, media, and entertainment. So thank you, Sullivan, for that.
Yes.
All right, so real quick, before we get back to stories, our live audience, how are you guys doing so far? So those of you that may be just joining us, you're hearing the soothing sounds of my mom's voice narrating my life as I paint these portraits. We also have our live audience joining us during this Paint Life Live. Let's go away, show some love. And then don't forget, I know you're sitting there, maybe you have some questions about art, about other things in life. There's a microphone right there. Don't be shy. I see you creeping up. Go for it. Just let us know what your name is and then your question.
Okay, I'm Katrina.
Hello, Katrina.
And I was wondering, do you know ahead of time what you're going to paint, or do you just go into it and just see where it takes you?
Yeah, that's a great question. By the way, awesome shirt. I love the shirt. It's like the Scream Basquiat feel. So she asked, do I know what I'm going to paint, or do I just kind of make it up as I go? And it's a mixture of both. So I did have a structure of what I knew I wanted to do today. I do come with somewhat of a plan, but I still just let the creativity take place. Like, for example, I didn't have a lot of these colors mapped out. I had an idea, but I'm still sort of making it up as I go. And the reason why I do that is I'm leaning on the process and the experience. So early on, I would practice things for a week before I would even paint it once. And now I kind of just go with the flow, like I'm doing right now. So hopefully should I practice more? What we're trying to tell you is you should practice more. Did you prepare at all today? Oh, no, I'm just kidding. But thank you for the question. Yeah, feel free, don't be shy. Also, we have any questions online, Ray? Maybe if you want to scroll back to any questions, feel free to ask. If you have any questions from my mom, who is joining us today, feel free to ask those as well. Let me really explain some of this process, actually, since we're talking about how I plan this out. So I'm doing this a little different. I'm really trying to work in reverse. Normally, I try to create the figure, or at least hints of the figure first. But for this, I wanted to leave some mystery. So I'm actually creating a lot of the aesthetics in this. This is sort of a first layer. And what I'll do in the next sort of handful of steps, after I really cover the surface, we'll start to bring a subject to life. In the center, you see this blank spot, but also we're gonna add this layer, which I always tell artists is put down your base of your painting, show what it is, but then add your voice on top of that. So my voice is some splattering paint, it's some smudges, it's imperfection, it's an energy of color. Yours may be adding a layer of being more precise. Your voice on top of that first layer may be more whimsical lines. That's your voice, and that's for you to decide. But don't leave it as a base, because anyone and everyone can do that. Your voice is that next layer of movement on top of this, which you'll see me kind of add in the next handful of steps. So, and also just remind you that we are doing a pre-sale of this image. I believe right now it is 50% off at garibaldiarts.com/shop. We're trying something new. We've never done this before. And we have 7 minutes left for it to be 50% off. And there's details about the size of the print and what it is, but you're seeing it come to life right now. All right, back to this. But you know, even before I get to that thing I just talked about, which is adding the layer of my painting voice on this, is I'm still there's still like a part of me that's, wait, we'll get to you, yeah. There's still a part of me that's a little insecure, you know, where I'm sort of not second guessing, but I've got to keep challenging myself to push through and trust the process, even though I don't know what the outcome is yet. You have to leave that to the moment. And so I'm going to keep trusting that. I see a question from our live audience coming up.
David.
What's your name?
My name is Abe. The question is actually for both of you. What is your favorite painting? I think that you've done. I think I know your answer, but Mom, what's the favorite painting that David has done? Your favorite?
Ooh, great question, Abe. Thank you.
You go first.
You go first. You go first.
So, oh my gosh. Like, I think when you're a fan of an artist, and so there is a time that I'm able to kind of separate myself from being his mom. Like I was sharing with somebody today. In fact, I think I was sharing with Abe when we came in today that, of course, this is not going to be a short answer.
What?
That for the most part, like when I'm with David, like we go get coffee or we have dinner or I'm picking up the kids or whatever. I mean, he's my kid, you know, it's David. And then when I come to his studio or I go to a show or whatever, I'm just like, I tell him, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like kind of famous. You've done well. And so then I'm like in starstruck mode. So I have a lot of art in my house, and but I still think, and it's not a picture that anybody has seen unless you've been in my studio, my favorite painting is one of his first originals. It hangs above my mirror in my salon. It's called Tres, and it was when he very first started to learn to paint, when he was going to the Fox and Goose, when he was going to ink and painting for 2 or 3 hours with one color. He was doing monochromatic colors.
Ooh, great use of art terms. I love that, Mom.
And it's 3 women. It's the same woman 3 times, which is Tres. And it's just red, black, and white. And I think that will just always be my favorite. It will always be my favorite. Of course, I love everything. I have a lot of art in my home. I probably have, and I don't have everything hanging up, maybe 200 pieces of David's, because I have a lot of stuff that nobody's ever seen.
Are you selling these on eBay or something? Or he's like visiting me and selling, like, yes, great job over there.
No, I did that already, remember?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know.
Actually, it was Craigslist, but that's another story.
Yes.
Yeah. That's actually a cool story. But at any rate, that's one of my favorite. And if we go forward, I have a painting in another original in my studio that I have loved since he did it. And it's actually on my business cards now. And it's just this beautiful woman with flowers, and there's a bear in the picture, and there's just, I don't know, it's just stunning, and it's bright, and it's pretty, and I don't know, I just think it's a culmination of life. It's just a happy, beautiful picture. Francesca sees it every time she comes in, right? And so other than that, it's just kind of hard because I love everything. I love everything that he does. And I'm just such a fan.
Yes, well, all right. My favorite painting I think because it's not even one particular, actually, you know what? It's actually here behind our live audience. It's the most recent Jesus portrait that I'd done. Was that the one? Oh yeah, Chowdy, the painting of her, or Jesus. No, it was this most recent painting of Jesus, and I say this because there's a handful of paintings that have transformed over time, that I've been able to do the same one, but because it's transformed, it's shown the growth in my life, and this one particularly, the new Jesus one, shows the growth of my spiritual walk, which goes up and down in all times in our life. And I think more recently, I've just been more self-aware of it. It's something that I've been wanting to grow in. And I think that painting really reflects that energy, whether I say it or live it. And so that's my favorite one right now. It'll probably change next week, but that's definitely my most favorite one, that recent Jesus one. Oh yeah, and of course, yeah, Shannon on cue. All right, we have another question. What's your name?
My name's Karen.
Karen,
my
welcome.
question is, what's the most random place out in public where someone has recognized you and just kind of
Yeah.
expressed their love of your work?
That's a great question. So what's the most random place that I've been sort of recognized in public? I'll name a few, because there's some really random ones. But, oh, you know what? So I don't know if they're random. It was just, I didn't expect it. And I'm just David going to, this place, going to that place. But we had just finished our show, our last show of our tour in Europe. And I was at the Glasgow airport. So usually people don't, like if they had seen me at a show, they'll know me, but I was at the Glasgow airport and I'm just standing in line waiting to get on the plane, and there just happened to be this line of people from the concert last night coming, like going back to other places in Europe, and they're just filing in. I'm just standing there and then they just start lining up for pictures. It never happens. I swear that never happens. And so that was random, because then the people around me were like, who is this guy? I'm like, I'm a kid from Sacramento. This is weird for me too. And then recently I was in New York City. We did 3 nights with Josh Groban at Radio City Music Hall. And after the last day, it was the day I was flying back home, and I just went for a walk, kind of near Central Park. And then same thing happened there, was people walking, they noticed me, they're like, David, we loved you last night. And so it was just super random. And I think the other random parts are just like at my kids' school, like when, the parents are like, by the way, I love your work. It's just, I'm like, cool, can you hold the gate open for me while I get the kids out? So yeah, it happens randomly. I never expect it. And if they do, I either think that I'm in their way or they want to say hi. But 99.9% of the people are super, super sweet. There's that one, no, I'm kidding. No, they're always super nice. All right, let's get back to the painting. We're gonna start bringing this thing home. It kind of looks like a big flower blob right now, but let's start working on this middle part. And I believe now we're at that 40-minute mark. So we're gonna, it's now 25% off for the pre-sale, which we'll throw there on the screen, and then we'll finish this thing up. All right, I love the questions, by the way, all of them. And Mom, I think we should take this show on the road.
What?
I think we should take this show on the road.
Oh, I think
What do you-
so.
yeah? All right.
I'm ready.
I know.
Let's
I
go.
know you're ready.
Let's go.
Yes. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Shobit.
Shobit, welcome.
First of all, how was sushi last night?
Oh, how was sushi? Oh, yes.
Random places I saw you
Actually,
last
you know
night.
what? We didn't get in because the wait was so long.
Okay.
We ended up going to another restaurant, but
But the real question, you talked about the high school teacher, but apart from that, was there any sort of formal training? Asking more for my daughter, like as a kid, as a parent, what can you do to maybe give them some directions, help them in some way?
yeah.
Did you ever take any formal training, or was it just your creativity every time?
Yeah, that's a great question. Real quick, how old is your daughter?
She's 7.
She's 7. So I was very self-motivated from a very young age. And so I would do things for extra credit and I would just turn them into my teachers, and they're like, I didn't ask for this. It's like, I don't get credit for it. But so I was self-motivated in that way. So I had this hunger to learn. But as a parent, and me being a parent now, it's really putting opportunities like creative challenges in front of your child at that age to have them start and complete so they can get used to feeling challenged while they create. As I got into sort of high school, I took every art class you could think of, but also I would take figure drawing classes in the evenings. I would have like my mom drop me off, or when I started driving, I would go drive to these. And so it was really the classes outside of my day-to-day classes in school that I would sign up for and take. And specifically when she gets older, any sort of like gesture drawing or figure drawing is something that once you get that down, you can really create anything. And then I would say, I think just putting creative challenges in front of them. The great thing now is YouTube is full of them. There's so many YouTube channels that have art challenges on there, watching it, translating step by step, because ultimately you're breaking down, you're not creating a huge image, you're creating parts that add up to an image and teaching them that. But how would you add to that? What else did I do growing up? What do you think?
Honestly, I think David was like 10, so your daughter's 7. So I think David was 10 when I first really realized that he was gifted, and what he used to do, I mean, he drew before that, but he used to get Darkwing Duck comic books, right?
Yeah,
and
like coloring books.
I'd walk in his room and he always drew on the floor, and I'd look at him and I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I just drew this."
Oh, the voice again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he was little. And
I sound like that now, actually.
He was drawing on, little things, but he was taking a little 2x2 comic book picture, and he was actually at 10 years old able to scale it up to an 8x10 picture.
Or bigger, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's pretty good. So then I started buying him art books. And then he was scaling, it was still Darkwing Duck, and then he was scaling it bigger. Then I was buying him poster board and scaling it bigger. Finally, I went to Target and bought him an art table, a little art table, so he didn't have to draw on the floor anymore. He carried that little table around the house everywhere. But that was that age that I think I just instinctively knew, like, you're really gifted. Like, you have a gift. We're gonna do something with this. And I think when he called me at 19 years old and said, I don't want to work anymore, I'm going to be an artist.
Well, I got fired, so
Well, okay.
I'm not working. I'm going to be an artist.
Yeah. And, but I just wasn't worried. So, and I think whatever you can see in your child, a grandchild, you just see a little glimpse of something, okay? Like his son, Crispy, is a gymnast. He's amazing. He's an amazing gymnast. They keep feeding it. They keep taking him. They keep pursuing that for him. His daughter, Mia, is in theater, and she is amazing. So when you see these little gifts, you just keep feeding them, and I really think subconsciously that's what I did with David.
But I would add to that, though, the challenges.
Yeah.
So finding YouTube challenges, art challenges, presenting challenges, because ultimately, once you get through that, you're like, I feel so good after that creative challenge. Give me another one, or another one that's greater. And by the time they're, in high school or even beyond that, they're like, what's the next challenge? And that is when you start presenting professional opportunities at that point. So, yeah. All right, let's bring this to life. Come down here.
I have a question for you.
Oh, geez, okay.
So I just always wondered, why was Jimi Hendrix your first painting that you ever tried to do live?
Oh, that's a great question. So normally I'm creating these paintings in, not like this, but portraits on stage in minutes to music. The very first portrait that I attempted to do was a Jimi Hendrix profile that I was originally inspired to do. That Denny Dent, who had started performance painting, he had mastered that. So I thought, okay, if I can get this one profile portrait down, and there's something about that Jimi Hendrix portrait, there's shape, there's value, there's color, there's line, there's all these elements and challenges that are in that profile portrait. And so it was just, I was inspired by Denny Dent, and he mastered that, and I was like, well, if he mastered that, I've got to get this down. So now it's actually become when I tell artists that are starting performance painting, do the Jimi Hendrix profile. If you can get that down, you'll start to progress and learn other portraits. So yeah, it was thanks to Denny Dent. Rest in peace. Love the questions, by the way. Keep those questions coming. If you have any, if you're watching this online, feel free to ask those questions in our chat as well. Yes. Oh, yes. Here, we'll put the mic down lower for you. There you go. I'll hold it.
Can you name 3 colors that you're using in your painting?
Ooh, yes. Just Ken, that's a great question. Can I name 3 colors? I don't know if I actually know the official names of them. This one, I'm gonna tell you my favorite one. That's not it. It's this one. This is called Diva Glam. So it's like a really vibrant pink. I don't know if you can see that. And it's a lot of the pink in this. The other one, man, you put me on, this is a hard, difficult question. What is this purple name? There's another one. Blackberry Jam, also one of my favorite ones. It's this purple that's in the middle of the different tones of that. And then also, it's another favorite one that I'm using. What is this? Let me look at the name of this. The green, yes, okay. So the green is called Green Neon, which is the color of your mask. So this one right here, you'll see a lot of the green neon. Those are like my 3 favorite colors that I'm using in this painting right now. Great question, thank you.
And also, what's
yes.
the name of your painting?
There we go. What's that?
What's the name of your painting?
You know, I don't have a title yet, but I'm going to title it as soon as I'm done. So can you actually come up and ask me that when I'm done?
Okay.
And then I'll tell you the title. All right, thank you. Love the questions. Keep those coming. Yes? That's a great question. So someone just asked from our online chat, am I ever scared to start paintings that are larger in scale, either on canvases or on walls? And yes, painting large is intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. I would be lying if I had said it was super easy. But I think from when I first started, I would practice these over and over again. And most artists are afraid to do the same image over and over again. They feel like, for some reason, it's either cheating or it's like, you know, it loses its luster. But you learn and grow so much from you know, seeing the progression of a single image. So, to get around the part where I was intimidated by, I would just do the images over and over again. I'd practice them, and eventually they would, I guess eventually I would build my confidence every time I approached a larger canvas. But there's still a piece of me today. I'm a little timid, you know, doing these. This is not my normal run-of-the-mill painting, which excites me, but also terrifies me as well. But I love those questions, keep those coming. All right, we're gonna keep going a step up in value. So we started with just a little bit darker gray. We're gonna go a little bit lighter. All right, we have a question, yes.
Well, it's not actually a question. My name is Connie.
Welcome, Connie.
I want to talk about AGT.
Oh, yes.
I love dogs, but I don't still understand why the dogs won and you didn't win. How did
agree.
you feel?
Oh,
I
man, it's just got dark.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's a great question. No, it's a great question. So those of you that don't know, I was on the 7th season?
Yes.
7th season of America's Got Talent.
It was 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
And when I first started this, I didn't even know I was gonna make it past the audition because I had to do these paintings in 90 seconds on stage. So I get past first round and then we go to the finals. Let's just fast forward to that. We're standing on stage with these adorable dogs, a musician and a comedian. I looked around, I looked at my guys, I told them, we're going home right now. Just so you know, like we were on a commercial break, we're standing there, I'm looking at these cute dogs and I'm like, this is it, guys. I just knew, and honestly, I also knew because of the reaction of people every time they would come on. I mean, I was backstage rooting them on. So, but honestly, I'm not bitter anymore. Yeah, it was great. I came in 4th place, and my life has never been the same after that. And it was amazing. I got to, and even now, the winners sometimes don't always, last that long in their success. And so I'm just grateful, even as a 4th place winner, that we've been able to still grow our brand, grow in the places that we get to perform. And so I wish the dogs nothing but the best. Yeah. I'm sure they're out there. Yeah.
At least you came ahead of the sand artist.
This is true. I would have lost to him too. Yeah.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's just so many you never know, and the beauty of those shows is, what someone thinks is talent, is that's kind of what it makes it what it is. And a lot of people that hadn't seen me perform a full show were thinking, how does he do a full show with these paintings? And you got to have some vision for that. But luckily, I live in this amazing city, Sacramento, who has been so supportive throughout my career as I've tried different things here first before we took them out to the world. So I was happy to represent my city on that stage.
Does anybody want to know anything else about David?
Oh, yes. Come on up.
Hi, David. My name is Janet, and I want to give a shout out to my mother, who is
Oh,
here.
I love that.
Yay.
What's your mom's name?
Margie.
Margie also.
And my
Welcome.
sister's here too, but they came to visit, and also to do the event, so we had no idea it was going to be for mothers,
Wow.
which is totally cool.
Well, we got to make sure. I don't know if Shannon can hear that, but can you make sure we got something special for the mothers? So.
Good. And then
Thank
I wanted
you.
to ask you, do you do all of your painting and creating here, or do you have an art studio within your home as well?
No, this is it. So you guys are in my home away from home right now. So my studio, where we're at right now, War on Walls. It's 500 Broadway in Sacramento. We're open on the weekends, Saturdays and Sundays from 11 to 4 p.m. But we also do these live streams. But this is where I do everything. So if you follow me on social, all those videos that we do, I don't like to paint at home because that's my sane space, my safe space. Plus, I'm a father when I get home, and I gotta be focused on them. But when I come here, I'm like, what kids? No, this is daddy's time in the studio. But this is my home away from home. Hopefully you're all enjoying it so far. All right.
Yeah.
We have a suggestion box in the front if you want to leave any suggestions.
Yeah.
We don't actually. But the funny thing about the dogs that you asked, thinking about it, we had our dogs here earlier because we were gonna go do the doggy dash. And if we had done that, I don't think we would have made it here in time. So I was like, these dogs are taking enough from me. But you almost all met the dogs earlier. All right, so you see this image is starting to come to life now. You start to see this figure in the center. Put that in there. I see someone else coming up. Yes.
Hi, my name is Adrian, and my question is, so you were saying earlier that you first started off with graffiti.
Yes.
And what made you transition from doing that to actually more painting wise on canvases, or what you're doing right now? What was your inspiration?
Yeah, that's a great question. So how did I transition from graffiti to what I'm doing now? That middle part between graffiti and painting live was studying animation. So I had an animation teacher, but within that, I was learning about figures and how to do figure drawing, character animation, storytelling, sound editing, video. So all these sort of skill sets that I eventually played into getting my art out to the world. But I think the graffiti probably lended the biggest hand, that and dance, by doing the large movements and then lending to the movements that I did live on stage. So yeah, no, I love the process. Thanks for the question.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. What was your name again?
Adrian.
Adrian.
Yep.
Thank you, Adrian. Appreciate it. All right, let's keep this going. You're getting near the end. So we are starting. We have a pre-sale going on this image. You can finally see it coming to life, and it is now 25% off at GaribaldiArts.com, and it'll only be 25% off for the remaining part of this live stream, which we're going to be wrapping up soon. So go there, come back. We're gonna start adding what I talked about earlier, the artistic voice layer to this image. These are all the textures, the lines. And a lot more splash and color. Oh yes, yeah, feel free, just go for it if you have a
Okay.
question.
So I'm still Katrina. I wondered, when did you feel like you found your voice, discovered what your artistic voice was?
That's a great question. So,
question.
When I felt like I discovered my artistic voice was probably those beginning years when I started painting. So I was 20 years old. I knew enough about art to do it, but I didn't have a voice yet. So I started tapping into my original inspirations, which was music, it was movement, and I would create those subjects. And when I started doing those, I realized that art was actually secondary to my passions. So as much as I love the process, the voice came from, wait, I love the process, but I love music and I love expressing that love by doing this. I love dance and movement, and I love expressing that through this. And so for artists who are wondering, when am I gonna find my voice? I would say, get out of the studio. Go live life. That is where you find inspiration. And in that inspiration, express that transformation in your life on your canvas, whatever form that is. If you make rugs, if you're a painter, if you're a musician, live life, be inspired, express that through your art form. And that happened to me when I was around 20 to 22, 23 years old. Yeah, great question. Love that. All right, I'm just gonna define these lines real quick. I'm using the black spray paint. Because I have the black canvas here, it's just sort of cutting into the color and just helping me define this before I splash some paint. Yes.
Hi, David.
Hi.
My name is Denise, and
You're
I
welcome.
was wondering, do you listen to music when you do paint?
Oh yes, so do I listen to music when I paint? Absolutely.
Okay.
You hear it in the background now. Even now, it's in the background. I just have to have something. When I'm in here, it's a lot louder, but it helps set the pace to how I move. So
And
if it's
what is
country-
your favorite music?
Ooh, I was just gonna say country western music as an example, but I listen to it all. I love hip hop music. I just love the movement and the beats. I love electronic. We have country music on in here sometimes, and there's a different way to move to that than I would hip hop. And so the music sort of lends to the result of this as well. But so I played music growing up. Actually, were you a part of that? Like introducing or making sure that we signed up for playing music growing up?
Yes.
Yeah, why was that?
Yeah.
Why did you want us playing music besides just being
Well,
gone at practice?
It was just another part of putting some culture in your life,
Yeah.
and plus you needed something to do, and I needed you to be doing something.
Not shy.
So David played the trumpet and his brother played clarinet, and they actually got pretty good.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, they were good.
I always joke around that as much as I love music, I also knew my limit to it, and I knew at some point all right, I think I met my limit. At least, actually, I'll say this. You know you're passionate about something when you're willing to try and fail at it, and then try again to progress. And I realized at some point music was not that.
Yeah.
I just kept failing, and I did not want to get better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played the trumpet for until high school, until they made me decide between music and art. And so I stuck with art. If you heard me play the trumpet, you would understand why. You're like, good choice. All right, I want to add something on here. So I'm imagining this ring has a little glow to it, and it's gonna shine some light on these flowers over here. It's a little side spray effect. By the way, we are getting near the end of this painting, so if you have any comments you want to ask online, feel free to do that now. Ooh, a great question. So how do you sign up to join our live audience? Is you go to garibaldiarts.com/studio. I don't think we have a new one up, but if you text me, and we'll put that number on the screen, we'll keep it up for a little bit, but text me to 916-866-8101. Text me there, say, I want to join the live studio experience, and I'll send you the link to sign up. All right, let's do a couple more of these. Let's get these on here. We got a little glow here.
So I think what I enjoy about today with you is like everybody sees this. They see you performing, they see you posting things that you've done, your tour, you know, whatever you're doing. But I think today people got to get a little glimpse of your dash from 2003, 2002, something like that, to current 2022. Because a lot of people don't get to see that in between. Obviously, there's a lot in that dash that's like a heartbeat. You know, things that have been high, that have been low, that have been really low, that have been high, that is just life. And I think these little things that we got to share today, people got to know a little bit more about you, about the family.
And they got to know you.
Got to know me.
Yeah.
But I just think that's, it just makes it more real.
Yeah. Well, I'm about to splash some paint. Can I splash some paint now? All right. Let's do that. Let's start with the Diva Glam. All right. We're gonna go to my second favorite color, which is the green neon. See, now I gotta remember these. Now we know the green neon, so here we go. I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this so that the paint flies just a little bit more. So when you're painting in the house and the walls, just do that. All right. Just add water. All right, and then I believe it was blackberry jam, purple. Let's see, I'm gonna do a little bit of that. Yeah, let's just do that. Blackberry jam. Is that what it is? Then maybe the spray paint fume's getting to you too, so. All right, and then this is another little fun part. There's only so much a brush can do. Sometimes you gotta use your hand. I'm gonna go in here. Our live audience, you'll be able to, we'll take some pictures after this, but you'll be able to see this thing up close. We'd love for you to take a closer look. And also for our live audience, we're just gonna do 75% off this image for all of you. Oh no, we have another question. Yes. Wait, what's your name?
Hi everyone, I'm Chadi.
Hi Chadi. You're beautiful.
Thank you, you're really handsome.
Hi Chadi.
Hi Queen.
By the way, it's my girlfriend. I don't just hit on random audience members.
So my question is, where did you get this brilliant idea of a woman with flowers everywhere in a crown? It's so beautiful.
Wow, I love to have modest women in my life. Thank you for the idea.
You're welcome.
So before I share the title of this, and before I finish this up, I was looking for inspiration. And what better person to ask than a beautiful mother to your 15-year-old, Sophia. And I was like, what do you think? Like, what should I do? And she had this idea. She's like, why don't you do like a face sort of like, you know, covered in flowers. So it's sort of ambiguous, but also one of the things she made sure I had to add was this crown above. Because those of us like me who love our mothers, you are not only the queen sometimes, but you got to play the king as well, depending on your family situation. And so, you know, I want to show that strength and leadership as well. But yeah, it's just really, it's about this beauty, this strength, the color, the personality. And so thank you for the inspiration. Chadi, and my mom. All right, let's throw one more color on this, and then actually afterwards we're gonna touch it up a little bit, but we're gonna get one last color thrown on this before we wrap this up. I like this green right here. This neon green is just speaking to me. Let's go a little up there. We're gonna use the splashes to actually bring balance to the painting. If it ever feels heavy on one side, just throw some splash on another to balance it out. All right, let's, I'm trying to think of that title as I'm taking time to choose my last color. All right, let's do this last handprint on a mother's crown. Here we go. There we go. All right. So real quick, we're gonna have the camera go up close, take one closer look at a mother's crown. Celebrating our mothers. You may have heard my mom earlier. She joined us for this live stream. We're gonna chat just a little bit more, and we're gonna talk about the pre-sale of this image, which is happening right now, and it ends at the end of this live stream. So take a closer look, and thank you to the live audience. Appreciate you all.
Yeah.
All right. All right, yeah, go ahead and get a closer look. Oh, good, there's towels over here. Appreciate that. All right, keep taking a look. A mother's crown. I think that's the most flowers I've ever painted on something.
That's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
I love it.
And we'll give you all a closer look. Never too many flowers, that's right.
Yeah.
We heard it here first.
I would buy that.
You know, and so when Chadi gave me this idea, actually I'll share that afterwards when we cut to this. So take one last look at a mother's crown, and thank you for watching this live stream. Let's chat.
Good job.
So Chadi was giving me this idea for this image. We'll cut to it real quick with the flowers and the crown on there, and we'll go to another camera. We'll go to another camera. And I wanted to feel like when someone collected this print as a gift for their mother, that I wanted to feel like they're giving them a huge bouquet of flowers. So that's also another source of inspiration behind this. But again, thank you, Mom, for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you. I want to do some shout outs. Yes, show her some love.
Thanks. I make clear every Saturday to be here now.
Yes. She canceled work. I think I asked you last night.
Yeah.
She's like, I've got work. And then 5 minutes later, she's like, I canceled on everyone. So whoever's hair is not done, I'm sorry. We don't care about hair around here. So I want to just answer some questions in the live stream before we sign off. And if you're watching on Instagram, I am going to answer any questions before we sign off as well. But also let me know where you're watching this, your city, state, or country. We are here in Sacramento, California at my studio, War on Walls, 500 Broadway. And if you ever want to join this live audience, you can visit garibaldiarts.com/studio or send me a text to 916-866-8101 and I'll send you a link to register. And Debbie Graham said, so pretty. I think she's talking about you. Oh, yes, not the painting. Real Lima said it was very beautiful, excellent, sensational. Thank you for the love. All right, see you, Jeremy. Let's see. Oh, so someone else asked. So Nick Pronovo said, question from Portland, Oregon. What's your favorite color scheme to use? Which I think I shared with our live audience member, but it was neon green. It was the Diva Glam and Blackberry Jam. So you can figure out who has the cooler job, like the people that name colors. What a cool job I think that is. So let's see. Any other questions? Again, let's just do one more shout out to your city, state, or country. You can let me know on Instagram or whatever platform you're watching this on. Do you have any last words for our audience? My mom's also watching on her phone.
Oh, yeah. I was messaging.
Any last words for our live audience that's watching?
No, I'm just like, thank you for being here. So there's like a lot of people here today. And I am like, honestly, I was so excited to be here today. And like I said, I still get starstruck. I'm not jaded. And it was just fun. I love you. I'm so proud of you.
I love you too. Oh, we have a question off camera. Yes, Shannon. What was your most special Mother's Day moment?
Oh.
Wow, you put me on the spot for like coming through. Uh-oh. Yeah, or whoever did it for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, what's a Mother's Day moment? One of your favorite ones?
Wow.
We gotta step our game up.
That's a tough one. You know, I think probably just when I'm able to get everybody together. When everybody is at the same table together and just enjoying each other and laughing. And we were together 2020 during COVID.
Yeah.
You know,
well, don't put that out there, Mom.
I was like, no, it's not
we
holding
were
us
quarantining.
back. Yeah, we had masks on. Yeah, we all,
man.
nobody ate out of the same bowl. No, but I think, honestly, I think that was probably one of the days, because I don't know how many of us there is, 12, 13, but we were all together. And all the grandchildren, the kids, big kids, little kids. So I don't think there's like any one specific time, but I think just when I can hug everybody on the same day.
Yeah. I want to do one last shout out to another mother with us who is leaving our team here. She's still going to work virtually, but Shannon, can you just come say hi real quick?
Yeah.
Shannon has been a rock the last 2 years. Just come say hi. Just go over here behind my mom. We'll get you on there. But Shannon is a mother of 2, and she works so hard. Yeah, come over here. Yeah, just right behind my mom. But she is my executive assistant. She makes sure my schedule is on point, but also she'll run around and do random things and help us out with our family. So you're just peeking a little bit more on the screen. There we go. We're gonna miss you here, even though we're gonna work virtually for as long as possible. But Shannon, happy early Mother's Day to you. We're gonna miss you so much. Yeah. All right, before we all start crying, shout out to another Shannon Thompson who lives in Rochester, New York. Let's see, Christiana, shout out to you in Sacramento. Everyone's saying, Shannon, I love you. Mama Jenny saying, Shannon, keep in touch. And then one last shout out to BK Robinson watching in Washington. So that wraps it up. Thank you all for your patience hanging out today for creating this painting. Shout out, you can give yourself some love.
Yay!
We're gonna sign off, but I'm gonna do some giveaways with my live audience. So I've got some giveaways for you, so just stick around. We'll take some photos. You can see the painting up close. For now, I am David Garibaldi, and thank you for watching Paint Life Live, number 87, celebrating our mothers. Peace.
Yay.
Yeah, all right, great job. Yeah. And then we can turn the music up a little bit more.